Recognize the member from Ramsey, Representative Lilly. For what purpose do you rise?
Privilege of the House, Mr. Speaker.
Please proceed.
Mr. Speaker and members, I rise today with the privilege of the House to speak for one of our STAR staff. We, as a state, are so blessed to have great staff. The folks up front here that help us every day, our partisan research, our own partisan staff, and then our people that really get it done in the building in the SOB. We'd like to recognize Steve Munos. Can you step forward, sir? But anyways, we're going to read a proclamation. Steve is today, a big holiday, and we just happen to be down on the west side there at Boca Chica, which I recommend you all go down there tonight if you or over the weekend. But he's going to be the Grand Poobah over the weekend for Cinco de Mayo, the Grand Marshal of the parade. But I'd like to yield to Representative Atkins, and we have a nice proclamation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Steve, I wore this shirt in honor of you today. So it's a House resolution honoring Steve Munos for over 30 years of volunteer work, mentorship, and dedication to his community. Whereas Steve Munos developed an early interest and aptitude for athletics on the Belvedere Rec Center playground on St. Paul's West Side, and whereas Steve belongs to the Humboldt High School class of 1980, where he lettered in football and wrestling and began his career as a youth coach and mentor, and whereas he continued his involvement with youth athletics after graduation and helped to guide the West Side West End wrestling program for 17 years, and whereas, and I'll turn it over to Representative Mack.
Representative Mack.
Whereas Steve serves as treasurer of the Our Lady of Guadalupe Men's Club and has focused his fundraising talent and energy into pancake breakfasts, taco dinner, and the Mexican Independent Softball Tournament to generate significant revenue for the club. And I yield to Representative Hansen.
Representative Hansen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And whereas he has facilitated golf tournaments that have generated thousands of dollars for West Side boosters, Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Humboldt H Club, and other charitable groups, and whereas Steve's 30 years of assiduous volunteer work in his community have been acknowledged by the announcement that he will serve as the 2016 Cinco de Mayo West Side St. Paul Grand Marshal, and I yield to Representative Mariani.
Representative Mariani.
And how appropriate that we're doing this on Cinco de Mayo. And whereas the Humboldt H Club Athletic Hall of Fame presented Steve with a Lifetime Achievement Award at its annual banquet on April 12th for his sustained involvement with the Humboldt community, and whereas Steve works as Facility Services Supervisor for the Sergeant-at-Arms Office of the Minnesota House of Representatives and is a cherished member of our capital community. Now, therefore, and I turn over to Representative Hoppe.
Representative Hoppe.
Be resolved by the Committee on Rules and Legislative Administration of the Minnesota House of Representatives that it recognizes Steve Munos for a lifelong commitment to improving and advancing his community and its residents.
Thank you, Steve, and congratulations.